It's my pleasure to introduce our next panel. We're going to be talking with Sling Media, and it's my pleasure to introduce Brian Jaquet from Sling Media, whom I've known for many years, and Anand Subramanian from Nimble TV, who I have not yet known for many years, but we'll work on that. I'm going to start by asking Brian to introduce Sling and talk a little bit about what you do.
Sure. Thanks, Ross. Sling Media makes hardware and software to deliver more value to cable, satellite, telco subscribers that want to watch their home TV, live shows, recorded shows, whatever is basically on in your living room, on your various devices of choice, iOS, Android, PC, Mac, Kindle, whatever mobile device you have. Watch all that content either in another room in your house or in another state or in another country. So basically we're bringing more value to the cable satellite service that you already pay for and love so much on a daily basis.
Anand?
So Nimble TV is everything that Sling does, but without the box. So we basically virtualized. You basically took my pitch away. I couldn't help it. So think of us as a Sling box and a TiVo put together, but in the cloud. So you don't really have to have a box. Currently, we are available in New York City and in Chicago. So if you have a cable service, you can simply come to our site, link your cable service to our service, and then take it anywhere in the world, any device, any place. And it also has a cloud-based DVR, so you can actually use that as well. The basic service is free, so you can actually sign up and no credit card required. But if you really want to get DVR space, you have to pay. It's like $4.99 and up.
And the service today goes through an app, or is it a website, or how do they consume it?
So it's all browser-based. You can simply open up your regular browsers and just go to a URL and watch it. We do intend to actually launch apps very soon. We are in the process of launching an iPad app, and then we also have a Roku app, so you can actually use it on a Roku.
And Sling also has a Roku app that you introduced recently.
Yeah, and I should mention, we do require you to buy a piece of hardware. You can live anywhere in the United States or in other countries of the world to use our products. I think that's one big difference. But our products start at $149.99. Go up from there. And we have apps for all those different devices. And if you do have a Roku, and we're showing a demo of this, you can basically cut down on your cable boxes in your house, or you can also bring your home TV to another TV. So if you combine a Roku with a Sling box, you can watch your home TV on another TV.
So just to be clear to folks, both of these products/services allow you to take your existing cable or satellite subscription programming and enjoy it on a laptop, a smartphone, a tablet. But what we're talking about with Roku is basically the ability to bring it back to a television. If you want to watch your service on a television that you don't have a cable or satellite box hooked up to. So just wanted to make that clear for folks. Okay, let's talk about viewing on these mobile platforms. And Brian, Sling has been doing this since the dial-up days, really. So maybe you could talk a bit about some of the growth that you're seeing in mobile video.
Yeah, I was commenting to someone earlier this evening about when Sling first came on the market in 2005. We had a desktop app for PCs, and we had a Windows Mobile and a Palm OS app. And it was amazing at that time that you had this little grainy picture on your tiny little screen, and you could pull up your DVR and you could play a live show and you could do all these things. Now, obviously, the screens are much bigger. You look at an iPhone 6 Plus, it's a phone, but you can't believe it's a phone. The picture is beautiful, and customers expect beautiful quality video on their device of choice. And we've done a lot of work on mobile apps to make sure that we're compatible with the most recent updates. I'm adding more value into the app, like the cast ability that I talked about with Roku, which you can also do with Chromecast and with Apple TV. delivering it to the television, but really just making the experience better as well. More on our iPad app, for example, it looks more like a Netflix implementation, right? It's picture cover art. There's social integration. Despite what Jonathan said earlier, some people do like to tweet during shows, and so you have that integration all built on the app. And there's a lot more we can do with the landscape that we have.
And Anand, you've grown up in this age of, you've launched in an age of mobile broadband. So what are you seeing in terms of how people are using the service? You said it's browser-based. Are you seeing mostly tablets today? Are you seeing more smartphones as the screens get bigger?
Yeah, so it's interesting. We've actually done some research in terms of mapping their IP address and trying to figure out where they're using what kind of devices. I would say on a 3G phone, on a phone, the usage is far less than an iPad. Tablets are much more likely to be used for a engaged full show watching. If you are talking about just checking the score, you want to catch a Jets game and you're traveling somewhere, you're in an airport, people do use it, but it's very short cycle, it's probably 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Right.
So most of the use cases is actually bigger screens. People don't really want to hold a little tiny screen and watch for an hour. Even in airports, we've seen that people are using laptops and tablets more than mobile phones.
So even though we're starting to see more 4G and more LTE, and more of that is working its way into tablets, certainly. Today it seems like mostly a laptop and tablet phenomenon.
Yeah, I mean, what I'll add to that is basically that at the same time that you've got these higher speed networks, you also have caps. Whereas when 3G first came out, and when nobody was using it, right, everything was unlimited, and so you have those lucky few that are grandfathered into unlimited data plans. But yeah, there you go, same here.
Holding on to it.
That's right. But the vast majority of people that are buying, whether they buy a tablet with an LTE data network or a smartphone, they're much more worried about those caps and about the overage. But this is a challenge that's not only for Nimble TV and Sling. This is a challenge for all mobile video. The good news is that there's more and more places where you can get Wi-Fi. There's more and more places where you can log in, whether it's authenticated or you buy a cup of coffee or what have you, and they're very robust networks too.
So today recently we saw a couple of announcements about HBO Go is going to offer over-the-air streaming independent of cable. CBS is launching a service. We've got Hulu. We've got Netflix. Is there any sense that piece by piece we're starting to get more and more of the cable subscription delivered over the air, and we don't need to send it from a central location or even have the cable subscription?
Well, I'll definitely say that that's going to happen. And part of the reason why when we started Nimble TV, we were focused on a cloud-based service is it's easy for a cloud-based service to move from one to the other. So from our point of view, the only criteria that we have is that you have to have a underlying subscription. We actually authenticate and make sure that you have a paid subscription. So as the cable subscription gets debundled, so to speak, we would integrate those different sources into one source. We firmly believe that people don't want 1,000 apps on their iPads. Like, they want to experience TV the way TV was. So even though the sources may get fragmented, there's an opportunity to virtually aggregate that source and become the TV again. So that's really where our vision is, and that's where our path is. One of the things I will say, though, is CBS is looking to sell its over-the-air stream for $5.99 without football, and I'm not sure how many people are really going to go for it, especially when there are other forms and ways for you to get it, especially if you have a Sling box at home or.
Well, we'll also have to see what HBO Go goes for without a subscription, cable subscription.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say that there's more questions than answers than that, and it's a very significant announcement, but also it's an announcement that has, everyone wondering just what it's going to look like. and also wondering if it's going to be the same for everyone, right? Is it going to be HBO Go with a broadband bundle? Is it going to be a subset of content? Is it going to be not the robust catalog of HBO Go, but just the shows? Is it going to be just the in-season shows and not the back catalog? So
like Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, you can go on and on and on this, and obviously until it comes out. But I think to Anand's point also about the the bundling aspect of it, I don't know that the consumers are going to know how they feel about it until actually they're given the choice, and then they start to see maybe certain things stacking up as well. We've always believed that we can deliver value to that cable satellite subscription by making it more available in more places, and also packaging in some cases, and some of the things we're working on, linear with OTT, with DVR in band in a way that actually the consumer doesn't even know where the content's coming from. And if you can start to do some of those things as well, you can make it more sticky. And obviously our OEM and our licensing work with Dish and with Aris have us integrating the technology that's Sling driven at the chipset level into next generation set-top boxes and services as well.
About what percentage of your viewing is live versus off a DVR?
Oh man, I think it actually was 75-25 live to DVR.
75 live?
Yeah.
Anand, you
It's
see
about the
similar?
same. It's actually 35-65 for us, so around the same range.
So majority is live. So
Yeah.
you're seeing a lot of sports or news per the last panel, or?
Sports is huge. I think the other thing actually that's driven a lot more on this, and it was interesting to hear Jonathan talk about this about primetime shows. I think that primetime shows that have a big social following, whether it be some of the AMC or the Game of Thrones, so the Breaking Bad's back last year, and Walking Dead, those actually I think have driven a lot more of our use where you're not DVRing them to watch them later.
Okay.
You're actually watching them live, and if you're not in front of your living room TV on a Sunday night to be able to watch it, Sling or Nimble TV or maybe one other or two other solutions is the way you're actually going to be able to watch it.
So that's the anti-binging option. So
Well, that being said, I loved what FXX did earlier this year,
The
putting
Simpsons.
every Simpsons out
I know.
there. Yeah, that was awesome.
Let's get this done, right? Okay. I wanted to mention just quickly. I know I don't want to get too mired in the legal of it, but recently there was a Supreme Court case with Aereo. Aereo lost. Unlike that service, both Sling and Nimble TV work with the full breadth of cable and satellite programming, whereas Aereo worked only with broadcast television. But maybe you could explain why you're able to continue what you're doing, what you're doing, whereas they were deemed illegal.
I'll go first. Sling's always been based on a couple of core principles. One is that it's an extension of your cable satellite telco subscription, a subscription that you pay for on a monthly basis. Like I said earlier, we're extending that to mobile devices, giving you access anywhere. It's a one-to-one connection. What that means is that one Slingbox delivers one video stream to one device at one time. It's not a one-to-many, right? You're not rebroadcasting from one set-top box out to multiple clients at once. So I think that's an important aspect of it as well. And also that video stream from the set-top box through the Slingbox and to the mobile device is fully encrypted, so it doesn't allow you to capture the content and download it for offline use. So we've followed those core things from the very beginning, and that's why we also think that we're very well positioned in this as well.
Ditto.
But
That's
it's
not
a little
fair.
different for you guys.
But I will add on a couple more things. Clearly we both are very similar in the sense that there's a cable subscription required, though our actual technical implementation are slightly different. The key thing is fair use, right? I mean, just the fact that a consumer is paid for it, there's a certain amount of fair use to be able to use it for your own personal use. Just like Sling, we also only allow one login, one concurrent stream. So we're all actors that are trying to do the right thing. And I think with Aereo, the problem was that nobody was getting paid. At the end of the day, that was the basic bottom line, I think. Here, everybody's getting paid in the case of Sling or Nimble TV. So that's a big difference.
That actually makes a lot more sense to me than any technicalities around whether it's the device is in the home or whether the service is in the cloud. So, speaking of the home, Brian, do you see many Sling boxes being used to send data around the home? You mentioned TiVo, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think actually also the fact that we're compatible with Roku, Chromecast, and Apple TV has increased that, where people are maybe cutting back on a back bedroom DVR and using a Roku box paired with a Sling box in the living room to basically send all your live and recorded content from the living room back to the back bedroom TV. Also, I mean, just an anecdotal example, the Roku in my living room gets used by my kids for Netflix and Amazon Instant Video and PBS Kids and all those other great channels. But while that's in use, I have full access to that cable box that's underneath that TV. While I can't use the screen that's being used by my kids, I can still watch the football game on a Sunday on my iPad, in the living room, in the kitchen, anywhere, in the back porch if I wanted to. So that kind of like flexibility, I think, helps a lot to the in-home use. Not quite as sexy as being 3,000 miles away or 5,000 miles away watching your home TV. But
well, but I do think it raises some interesting questions around individuals' use of TV in the home. Particularly with the proliferation of tablets, and the proliferation of programming. People wanting to do their own thing around the home. Are you seeing that at all? People using the service within their home?
Yeah, I mean, I think that one of the things that happens is people tend to use iPads and potentially, use that as their own personal TV, so to speak, right? Right. So you do see that people are using it simultaneously.
Well, we do hear a lot about people getting their first home and not getting a TV. Right. Their iPad is their TV.
Well, it's so much easier to basically have your tablet sitting in the kitchen than paying someone to run coax into the kitchen and busting through granite on the countertop or something like that. I mean, it's not a coincidence that something like the Today Show is a really popular show for Sling users, because we imagine that people are using their tablet in the kitchen while they're making breakfast, while they're making lunches for kids, while they're running around, or even when they first wake up in the morning, they just want to kind of catch up on things.
Well, we also see, a lot of our customers are avid travelers, and they're trying to be in different time zones. So we have seen people record an entire Jets game and watch it the first thing they get up in the morning. Hopefully they're not reading the internet tweets and stuff, otherwise it'd be a spoiler. But we've seen some people do that too.
Anand, you mentioned there's a free tier for your service. Could you describe a little bit of the premium tier?
Sure. So, I mean, the difference between the free tier and the premium tier is that the free tier only gives you access to the basic cable channels and does not have a DVR.
I see.
When it's the premium, if you buy a DVR, it unlocks the rest of the channel. We actually don't make any money on the content because that's something you pay directly to your cable provider. Sure. We simply make money on the DVR, and that's how we, we get people in through the door for the free. Once they start using the product, they like it, they start upgrading to other things.
All right. Well, if you're looking for ways to get access to your TV shows out of the home or in different parts of the home, two great options here. And TiVo is actually a third. They offer a way to get your programming out of the home as well. I'd like to thank Brian and Anand, and thank you all for sticking around and continue to stick around. More good stuff to come. Thank you.